for my next evaluation, I'll be evaluating the Lytmi Cozy Fit. These are the most comfortable open-ear headphones. So the first things first, I have to thank Lytmi for sending me a sample of their brand new headphones in order to promote them on my channel. And I also have to give special thanks to Lytmi for giving me such a gigantic box to protect these headphones. I mean, look how beautifully packed this gigantic box was for these Lytmi headphones. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So this way, you know, with that box being right there, somewhere smack dab in the center, there's absolutely no way it can bounce around or anything. And all this packing paper perfectly protects them. So I don't know if this packaging is typical of Lytmi, but this is an extra great way to make sure that the headphones are protected when they arrive to your home. Okay, so let me be clear. In order to evaluate the Lytmi Cozy Fits, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear them for an entire 2 days, and I'm going to be using that time to evaluate the sound quality, to evaluate the call quality, because I'll make a couple of phone calls. And I'll also be using that time to evaluate the battery life. So basically, it'll give me enough time to basically see all around how they work and how usable they are for getting through, say, a day's worth of work time. Now, these things actually have very large earlobe parts, and that's because they have like very large batteries. They promise 24 hours worth of music. They claim that they are water resistant, IPX5, and they have a soft silicone wrap. They say that they're ultra light, and they say that the call quality is supposed to be pretty good. And they also say that they have premium stereo sound. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to charge these bad boys up. I'm going to give a nice full charge after I unbox them. And I'm going to take them with me, and I'm going to get some use out of them tomorrow. Now, just to remind you, I've evaluated headphones before, like, for instance, these Kotek models right here. And this was a good model. It was basically obviously designed to mimic the Airpods. What's interesting is Kotek actually went USB-C before Apple did, specifically because Kotek, I believe, is heavy in Europe. And I like Kotek products, like this one right here. And the thing about it is, what I really, really appreciate the product vendors who've been reaching out to my channel and been giving me all of these samples and whatnot so that I can evaluate them and show you that these things actually exist. And so that, you know, I can make videos and be able to demonstrate how these products work, whether or not there's any negatives or whether there's pros or cons to using any of them. So I'm actually very excited about these because, you know, it's so fun. And I'll say this really quickly before I get into the unboxing. I was actually anticipating that Apple was going to offer iPhone 16 with 2 terabytes. So I thought I would be upgrading my phone this year. Unfortunately, they brought out yet another iPhone and it didn't have a storage upgrade. So I decided that I'm going to skip the iPhone 16 and I'm going to end up waiting for the 17. So hopefully that one has 2 terabytes of storage. My 14 Pro Max has performed perfectly. The only thing about it is at this point, the battery health is down to about 84%. As far as headphones go, I was actually seriously considering buying a pair of AirPod Pros number 2, second generation. But I said, you know what? Let me wait till the 3rd generation. Sure enough, the Apple event happens, and there is no 3rd generation. What they did was they updated the Apple AirPod 2. They updated it to basically be like a hearing aid so that you could do hearing tests. And that just wasn't enough for me. I was like, no, I'm not going to spend $250 on these things. So sure enough, Lytmi came through with this sample right here. So if these turn out to be good enough, I won't need the AirPod 2s. And the only reason why I was even interested in the AirPod 2 or the AirPod 3 Pros, the only reason why I was even interested in them was because I knew that they would, you know, supposedly have better call quality and better call quality, especially than these Koteks. I assume that they would have active noise canceling, better call quality. I assume they'd have good battery life. And I also assumed that they would work more seamlessly with my phone. And they would also have like touch sensors for touch controls and such. But the AirPod 3 Pros didn't happen. So it looks like I'll be using these. And if these are good enough, these will probably be my main daily users. Right now, I'm using a pair of Skull Candy Dime Blacks, which I'll also put in this video just so you see what they look like. And I'll compare the audio quality between these, and the standard Apple AirPods. Okay, so this is the Lytmi box. As you know, pretty much everybody has decided that they're going to follow Apple's lead and they're going to have a nice unboxing experience. So these are the Lytmis. So this is the Lytmi case. It's a pretty big and thick case. It's probably not that much bigger than the AirPod case, but it is a big, thick case. And inside the box, let's see, there is a USB charging cable. I am drowning in USB-C charging cables. I so expected that I would get the iPhone 16 and the AirPods, and I expected that I'd basically be able to charge everything with a single USB-C charging cable and possibly one of these power charging stations. I so thought that I'd be able to. But apparently I'm drowning in these charging cables. I'm absolutely drowning in them. So this is the Lytmi box. Now, I'm going to obviously check it to find out all the features that it has. But as you can see, I'm going to have to charge this using USB-C, which is fine by me. And you know what's funny? At first, I was kind of disappointed that Apple bent to the European standard of trying to make everything USB-C. But now I'm getting kind of comfortable with the idea of everything being able to charge on the exact same cable. So these are the AirPods, or whatever you want to call them. These are the earbuds. They're actually very light. The curvature of this space is designed to grasp onto the back of the ear, and it's designed to go over and under the ear. And as you can see, the light is already on. It's trying to acquire a Bluetooth connection. As you can see, they cover up the connectors so it wasn't actually charging while it was in the box. So I'm going to give them an absolute full charge before I even use them. And that shouldn't take too long because this is USB-C charging. Let's take a very good look at the instructions first of all. So as you can see, the headphones have a touch area. They have an LED indicator. They have the charging pins, which I just pointed out. Charging case indicator. So there's a little light right on the front of the charging case, and that indicates how much power the charging case has. You have the USB-C charging port on the back, and it tells you how to wear them, obviously. So you're just supposed to put them in your ear, and you're supposed to loop that earpiece with the battery across the back of your ear. So that's pretty obvious. It says power on and pairing. Opening the charging case. When you open the charging case, the earbuds will automatically power on and enter Bluetooth pairing mode. Connecting to your device. Okay, so obviously you use the typical Bluetooth setup and you connect them to your phone. Then it says powering off. To power off, return the earbuds to the charging case and close it. The earbuds will automatically power off after 5 minutes if they are not connected. Then it says charging. Remember to tear off the protective films in order to charge it. That's those little films that I showed you. I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to give these a full charge before I even start using them. Then it says low battery indication. You will hear a voice prompt of battery running low. So usually they say battery low, and then you know that you're supposed to recharge them. So they also have a power indicator. 1 through 30% is red, so that's low power. It's about to die. Yellow is 31% to 70%. Green is obviously 71% to 100%, so that's basically full. They have a touch area right here. Now on the back, it says what to expect when you use the touch area. Power on and power off. You have to touch and hold for 4 seconds. That's typical. Activate disabled voice assistant. So you triple tap. So you have to tap it 3 times to have it talk to Siri. Answer and then call. Double tap. Now that to me is a little hard to remember. I'm used to doing a single tap for answering a call, but I could try to remember that. Double tap to answer or end a call. Reject a call. Touch and hold for 2 seconds. So you have to touch it and hold it to tell it don't answer the call. Play and pause. Double tap. But wait a minute. Okay, so play and pause is the exact same thing as answer call. Volume down. Single tap. Now, usually I manipulate volume using my iPhone. Now, the Airpods, now you're paying $250 for those things now, but they have a touch slider that allows you to touch it and slide your finger up and down in order to manipulate the volume. And that's part of the reason why Apple is what it is. Apple understands how to make their product in a way that nobody else pretty much does. Now, everybody will eventually copy their product, just like Samsung does with the new gray Airpods that they got. But the reality is nobody else makes their product like Apple does. So they're saying volume down is a single tap on the left earbud. On the right earbud, you have to single tap to do volume up. It says touch and hold for 2 seconds to go backwards if you're touching the left side. And if you want to go from one track to the next, you have to touch and hold for 2 seconds on the right side. So already you can see that this is just a little complicated. So there's a lot to remember. With these I'm not sure how the AirPods work, but with these codecs, for example, and with my Skull Candy Dime Blacks, in order to turn them on, all you have to do is push the pad and hold the pad and they will turn on. Both of them have the exact same pad. In order to answer a call, all you do is tap it once. Now, I will say this. That's a problem because they also made it that to end a call, you tap it once, which means that if you're laying on your side and you accidentally put pressure on the button, it will automatically end the call. And then you have to call the person back and explain, oh, yeah, I didn't really hang up on you. It was an accident, blah, blah, blah. My Dimes do the exact same thing as the codecs do. So they're basically designed the exact same way. Maybe having to double tap to do that function makes more sense. Perhaps it does. We're going to find out when I start using them. All right, so it says battery capacity, 50 milliamps. I believe that's times 2 because those are 50 milliamp batteries on either side. And then they say the charging case has a 400 milliamp battery. Charging time should be about 2 hours for the earbuds. Charging time should be about 2 hours for the charging case. That's an interesting long time, but I guess they're expecting you to do this overnight, which is fine because I plan on using these throughout the day tomorrow. As you can see, it says, little things about their impedance, 24 ohms of resistance. Frequency response is 20 to 20 kilohertz. So one of the things that you got to understand is I like my music loud and I like to play it with heavy bass when I can. So I will be specifically looking for bass response, clarity of voice, clarity of sound, and basically I'm checking to see how does my typical listening music sound on these headphones. I know how they sound on everything else. So now I'll be looking to see how they sound on these headphones in particular. The ultimate job for these new Lytmis is to replace not only these Kotek brand earbuds. And these are pretty, these Koteks are decent, but they're pretty generic at this point. I'm going to have to clean these things out because I'm starting to see like this little residue, earwax residue and everything. You're going to have to try to replace my Koteks for one. And then on top of that, you're going to have to replace these Skull Candy Dime Blacks. Now, the Skull Candy Dime Black is actually really interesting. This is the only pair of headsets that I've actually bought twice. The first time I had these headsets, I had no problems with them. But what happened was I was in a convenience store and somehow something happened and I ended up getting one of the earbuds. It just fell out of my ear. And when it fell, I accidentally somehow kicked it. I don't know what happened, but the earbud flew away and I never saw it again. Now, despite the fact that these things got rightfully, they kind of got negative stars for having a cheap case. Like they felt the case was a bit flimsy. As you can see, this rubber pad that's on these things extends to the outside of the case. I never really had any problem with that. This is a very, very small case. As you can see, the Lytmi is almost twice the size. But it's a very, very small case, and these are very, very small earbuds. These earbuds typically last me maybe a few hours, maybe about 2, possibly 3 hours. I think over time the batteries are starting to wear, though, because I use them a lot. And they charge up relatively quickly. I basically just lock them in there and I let them charge. All of the specs you'd have to actually look up to have exact specs. But as you can see, these skull candies were like $25. So they weren't very expensive, and they were actually a very good product. Now, as far as these Lytmis, as you can see, the Lytmis are twice the size of these Dime Blacks, especially because they have such a large battery, which ultimately might be a very good thing because they have such a large battery. That means I'm going to get more time out of them. That's fine. So typically with these Kotex, I use these while I'm like washing my car or doing something, just low impact, just because I need earbuds for whatever reason at the time. So that's what the Kotex usually, that's their job. Usually the Dime Blacks, I use those every single day for everything. Like I keep them in my pocket. I use them if I ever get on the subway, if I ever get on the bus, the city bus. I use them all the time. They're small. They fit really easily into my ear, the skull candies. And for the most part, it's hard for people to notice them, especially if they're under a hat. They only notice them when they look really close and they actually see maybe there's a light or something. But these skull candies, despite the fact that they're inexpensive, they're probably about $20, $25. This is actually a very good product. This is the only pair of these earbud type headphones I've ever bought twice. In fact, I'll take them back out. So take a photo because I deactivated the Bluetooth mode so that they didn't mess with my audio. But yeah, those are the only ones I ever bought twice. I liked them so much I went right back out and bought another one. And that should tell you something. So those are the 3 that are vying for the position of which one is going to be my daily users. Now, as for the Kotex, I felt that those were good for their time, but I have a few issues with them. Specifically the touchpad. It's so easy to accidentally hang up on a call if you accidentally touch it. Sound quality was okay. Battery life was okay, but it was nothing stellar. And the Dime Blacks I prefer over the Kotex. So hopefully these Lytmis can do the job just as well or better. The first thing you need to understand about the Lytmis is the Lytmi Cozy Fit is an open ear design. Have you ever met one of these people who you ask them if they, would use earbuds and they say, no, I don't want anything in my ear? Well, that's exactly who these are designed for. As you can see, there's a speaker grill right here. And that speaker grill simply touches the opening of your ear. It does not have an earbud to force sound to go straight into your ear. What that also means is that there's no noise canceling. So that means that there's no passive noise canceling in that there's no seal, there's no airtight seal between your ear and the outside. And that also means that there's no active noise canceling using software because it really wouldn't matter because noise can easily enter your ear. So that's really who these are for. This is kind of like a hearing aid to some extent. And most hearing aids actually have an earbud and they go into your ear. But for those few people that are like, oh, I don't want anything in my ear, I don't like it doesn't feel comfortable and blah, blah, blah. That's who these are designed for. That's specifically who these are designed for. So I tried them on and I started playing some music at its max volume. And just as you would expect, obviously the loudness just isn't as loud as it could be simply because it's not forcing the sound directly into the ear. The sound sounds clear, absolutely. It's just that you can still hear outside noise. So I'm going to give these more testing. I'm going to make some phone calls with them, and we'll see. I'll see where I go from there. But for the most part, that's the main thing that you have to understand about these. It's an open ear design, and that's, I guess, its main selling point, the fact that it is an open ear design, and it also has a large battery with a long battery life. So I'm going to fully charge these things up, and then I'm going to try to use them for a day or two and see how well they perform. So you should be able to judge how I sound using the Lytmi Cozy Fit earphones. Basically, you should be able to hear the sound quality of my voice and how it may sound different than the speaker from the iPhone. Right now I am wearing them, and they're not heavy in any way. You only feel a small amount of pressure. The only thing I would say about it is that because of the fact that this part right here that holds them on your ears doesn't actually adjust or move, the only thing I would say is that the distance between your actual ear and the speaker itself may vary. People with smaller ears may have an easier time, or they may have a harder time, depending upon individual ear size. That's, as you could see, like the way she's wearing them, the speaker is not closing the ear canal. So therefore, sound can easily get through from the outside. So basically, when you're wearing these things, you know how you get that feeling that you're actually, like you can hear your own voice, because when you have earbuds on, you hear your inner, you can hear all the vibrations of your lungs, and you can hear your voice from the inside out. Well, with these, you really don't get that feeling. You basically hear everything around you, and you hear yourself clearly, because obviously you're not covering the ear canal fully. And one of the magic things about stereo is that when you have a sound source coming from both sides, your brain interprets it as like a single point. So it's like you almost hear it more towards the middle of your head rather than the left or the right. So that actually helps make the volume seem like it's actually louder than it actually is. I feel the volume could be louder. I would like it to be louder. It doesn't go as high as I'd like it to go, but I also imagine that they do that in order to make sure they can protect your hearing. So so far so good. So here I am, just waiting to get ready to start charging my car. Battery is a little bit less than half, and it's the weekend, so we're gonna make sure that we get all charged up. So after spending time with the Lytmis, 3 days to be exact, I can honestly say, let me put them on my ear. Yeah, okay, so now I'm using the Lytmis. Okay, so basically everything about them is pretty much standard fare. The case, I like the case. It's a very well-made case. It slams shut with, it feels good in quality and everything. The charging connectors, they charge as soon as you put the headphones into the positions. So for the most part, I've been able to get through basically more than 2 days without having to recharge them. And so far, so good. I mean, the thing that you got to understand about this type of headphone is that it's really, you have to accept the fact that these are open ear headphones. It's like when you accept the fact that these are open ear headphones, then you're basically saying, you know what, they'll cover up just part of my ear. And it's like a lot of external sound gets in. So basically, if there's ambient music, you're going to hear that over what you're listening to. Voice tones are good. People who were talking to me on the phone, everybody said that they could hear me just fine. The sound of the music quality was good. Bass is good. All of those things were okay. The problem is that because they're not in-ear headphones, it's hard for you to actually hear everything that's coming out of the headphones. So these are good in the event like you're the type of person who has maybe ear infections, or you don't like putting things in your ear, or if you're the type of person who needs to have an open ear and you don't want to be completely cut off from the outside. Because see, the Apple Airpods have active noise canceling. They also have a version without active noise canceling, but the active noise canceling ones will shut out just about all of the outside world, and it will only allow the music through. The ones without the active noise canceling will allow a lot of the outside world through, but still most of the music is going straight into your ear canal. But when you're using open ear headphones, it's like most of the music is not making it all the way to your ear. And that's just the reality. So, just to show you what they look like on my ear, as you can see, my ear canal, it's like you can see clearly that there's a lot of space there. You can see clearly that unless these things had a very loud volume, which they don't, and I guess that's, again, to protect your hearing, you could pretty much tell that these are designed in a way to allow you to basically not shut off the outside world. And that's basically what it really comes down to. So as far as battery life, yeah, these things have like a big battery on them and they last for a while. They're a good looking pair of headphones. They're not extraordinarily noticeable at a distance, but when people get close to you, because of the finish, they shine a little bit. And I'll also say this touch panel portion right here, I basically, using that, it's easy to forget the commands that you're supposed to use. I think they would have been better off just saying, okay, you press and hold to turn them on, press and continue holding for pairing, tap once for play, tap once for stop. I think that might have been a little bit easier. It's just that I'm guessing they didn't do that because the pad is so wide until it's very, very, very easy for you to accidentally hit it. So for the most part, the Lytmis are a pretty good headphone for people who are looking for a pair of open ear headphones. The battery life, again, is good. The sound quality is good. It's just that you have to remember they're open ear headphones. So, the majority of the outside world is going to get in there.